Welcome back, everybody. Beautiful Monday morning starting our week here. Maybe not so beautiful for North Dakota State football fans with the news that went down on Friday. That fellow conference mate Missouri State is on its way out of the league. They will announce later today in about 2.5 hours they are moving to FBS football and Conference USA. It's our pleasure to welcome back to our show Wyatt Wheeler, who covers everything Mo State for the Springfield News Leader. I feel like I'm back in high school. Everybody's at the cool kids party, and I'm being left behind. You're leaving me now, too. You're going to the cool kids party of FBS football.
You know, I've told everybody for years, it's just like, yeah, Missouri State's going to FBS before North Dakota State. It's just, look at that program and look at them side by side. And Missouri State strikes me as the one that's
clearly
that all the people are going to want in their league. So, no, this is, it's not a surprise that it happened. And I think a lot of people who have really dived into this and have paid attention know that because they see geographically where they are. They see the budget and the money they put into their athletics program. And I mean, when you have 3 years of reports saying that the athletic director said this, the president said they want to do this, national outlets connecting them to whether it's CUSA or the Sun Belt, it's not a surprise. And I think, they're going to be looking at the Dave Steckel years and saying, oh, what? North Dakota State won 5 championships in those years, but it doesn't come down to that. It doesn't come, it's going to happen. It's going to happen for NDSU someday when some things get figured out more on a regional scale over there. But it's strange. It's going to be different considering it's usually been a basketball school.
Right.
It's there's just so many different layers to kind of unpack there to where just trying to wrap my mind and get all the thoughts down, make sure I'm asking all the right questions going into a presser today.
Well, let's go back because every time you and I have talked over the last couple of years, that topic has been on the table about FBS. So that, to me, I was not surprised. Just what I was surprised was the level of secrecy that normally this stuff leaks out, and we didn't hear anything until Friday at 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, I started hearing about it the night before and was a little bit surprised that MSU went ahead and did a 9 a.m. Press release the next morning in the middle, right before graduations and everything that day. I figured the school would want to keep the focus on the kids who are graduating and everything. And
nope.
They approved it on Thursday. They had a board of governors meeting and everything. So I'm sure they were just wanted to be quick to get that news out there before it did leak. So, and Missouri State's good at that. We've seen that through coaching searches throughout the years. That they've been really good at keeping things under wraps and being able to surprise you by the very end. So, I'm not surprised that usually see a Thamel or somebody get in there,
right.
But I'm sure Missouri State and Conference USA is at the top of their the national guys' to-do lists during all this NIL stuff. And you saw some movement in the WAC as well that same day with Grand Canyon and other teams making moves. So a lot going on that Friday.
Tell me how this immediately changes things for Ryan Beard, Wyatt, in your mind.
That's something that I'm very interested in hearing about today because he didn't get a long contract. He's got 3 years left on this deal. He's paid less than some offensive coordinators in this league. There's just so much that you're looking at it and being like, are they gonna let him be able to build this up, or are they gonna give him some comfort in being able to build this up? Because he's going in 3 years. You have one more year in the FCS in the Valley, and then you're starting to add those scholarships and get up to 22 more scholarships at MSU, and you're having to build this. And he's got to. And right now he's the guy, but it's different. It's strange. You know that there's going to be some facility changes. Yeah. There's going to have to be some raises across the board because Ryan's sitting there at $275,000 a year, and when you have Rich Rodriguez in the same league making $1 million, you got a Liberty program that that just went to the made a New Year's Six bowl. So there's so much you're looking at on the football side. It's just like, all right, they have a lot of catching up to do, which we've always thought for years. Of course, you go back and look at this. This is a lot of this that they've done was built by Bobby Petrino.
Correct.
Uh, I don't know if we're sitting here today talking about this if Bobby Petrino was ever the Bears head coach, because he opened their eyes to what football could do if it had some
Yep.
success. He opened their eyes to being like, okay, television dollars are over there. If we get good, if we become relevant in football, get some of that streaming dollars. And what this is all about is just being in the business, is making this business move and trying to get a piece of the pie that everybody wants that can transform a university that they're trying to do.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle? Is it the money raising to get 22 more scholars? What is it to you, the number one? This is the thing they're going to have to jump over.
Yeah, there's so much in that because they say that they want to be budget neutral and they think that this is going to help them get there. Now, I look at the subsidies that the university puts into its athletics program, and it's around 60%. In the past, they've had to cut programs when there have been some budgetary shortfalls within the state, to where there's a lot of looking at that and seeing how is that going to go, because the budgets are hey, just travel is going to go up, coaching contracts are going to go up, this and that is going to just across the board. You're looking at that, scholarships and everything. And I go back to just a couple months ago before Missouri State basketball they fired head coach Dana Ford.
Right.
And right before that, they put out a release saying, we don't buy out coaches 2 years in advance because we can't go spending all that money, when it was just like, that's $180,000. I look at, they wanted to build a south end zone like facility with locker rooms and all this different stuff. Now they've shifted their focus to do something else, to do locker rooms in a different spot that's right next to it. But that was a $20 million project that they're saying, where they said, we can't do this.
Yeah.
We didn't get the money for this. We got to shift over. So, there's some big questions when you're looking at that. Now, I'm sure some of your listeners know that Missouri State's got a president that's
Outgoing.
that's retiring here in a couple months. A new guy's taking over. He comes from Utah Tech, a school that went from Division II, climbed up to FCS. So he's one that he's climbed up leagues before and has seen it pay off. And Kyle Motes is going to be a part of this still. Questions about whether a new president would keep him around. He just made the huge splash to get him the Conference USA attached with the president. So there's so much to it that it's just like, I figured this summer was going to be transformational for this athletics program with a new president coming in, new men's basketball coach, but this just takes it to a whole nother level. So there's a lot to look at.
Travel's always a thing to me, Wyatt. I don't think, was that a big deal? I know you had it ideal considering the Missouri Valley Conference was built around Mo State, but for the rest of the sports, I mean, you're going to Newark, Delaware. You've got Texas, Florida in there. This is you're talking about budget. That is a major financial strain on the other sports. Football's one day. You're in and out on football. It's basketball, volleyball, soccer, baseball. Those are the ones I'm interested in, frankly.
Yeah, and that's a good question, and that's something we've asked when USC and UCLA decide that they're going to join the Big Ten and go play some games in Maryland or Rutgers, and so those are questions that you got to have. Now I know you can do some things with the schedule to make you hit a couple of those on one trip. To just kind of strategic scheduling. Maybe you do, I don't know if they'll ever do some neutral site things, meet up in the middle or whatever. But, through my time interviewing these athletes, I think they're looking forward to it. My favorite, I asked three athletes that I interviewed for this, one in different sports. I said, so are you looking forward to doing a flight to Miami instead of a bus ride to Terre Haute, Indiana? They're just like,
That's a slam
oh yeah,
dunk. Yeah,
like,
yeah, right.
yeah, that's a little better. So I think the athletes are looking forward to it, but the money is going to be, I've this morning I've spent some time looking at I've done some of this reporting before, just looking at some of the
Right.
some of the former Conference USA. There's been so much movement in that league, to where I have some of these NCAA reports and just looking at their different, where they're putting their money, how they're getting money, where the expenses are, and just trying to get a sense of how that's going to go up.
Before I let you go, I'm curious. We know it's a move up for football. What about the other programs? Is this a move up for basketball, for baseball, competitively? I know how good the Valley is in basketball and baseball. Is this a move up from in the other sports?
It's a good question, and I think it's the one that everybody's asking as they make a football move, because this has always been a basketball town.
Right.
So men's basketball, it's a little step back when you look at RPIs or net rankings, just the Warren Nolan numbers. They go from the 10th best league to the 15th. Both one bid leagues. Of course, Florida Atlantic was in CUSA when it made its Final Four run here a couple of years ago, but it hasn't had two bids since 2012.
Wow. Okay.
Long gone are the days of Memphis and Louisville. I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't Derrick Rose's league anymore. So it's an interesting thing there when you look at it. I think they feel like they can maybe get some more teams. They're trying to get more teams in. I think a lot of that's going to have to do with relationships that Conzo Martin has as he comes back and is a men's basketball coach. Women's basketball, I think, is an upgrade. It looks like some stronger teams in there. They're typically getting a bid or two, or they're getting 2 or 3 bids and having some stronger competition. Baseball looks like a stronger league. Baptist, a school is built as a baseball school, was an affiliate of the Valley for a few years, and it goes over to a couple years ago for CUSA. So it looks like an upgrade for those, but it's very interesting when you look at a lot of that. And I know both soccer programs have been great in recent years. The Conference USA doesn't even have men's soccer. So is Missouri State going to be allowed to remain in the Valley or Sun Belt that or something? But there are plenty of questions that need answering here soon. And it's a fun time. And I say that it's it's a gamble. It kind of looks like a gamble, and I don't know if you want to be making a gamble quite like that. But as you watch college athletics, you don't want to be left behind.
Nope.
And Missouri it was in a position to do this, and it did. So I think if you had that invitation on the table and you see how everything's changing, you jump on it, even though you don't know what Group of Five is going to look like. Here soon, as any second now. It's just changing all the time.
All right, before you go, though, we have to make sure you get to Fargo, though. The Bears come up here in November. I need that for your travel rankings for your cities, because that's one of the most follows you have on your Twitter is your rankings for cities, and now that's all going to change. You got to get up here in November then, man. You just got to.
Yeah, I know Terre Haute's going to miss me. They're going to miss how I rank them. It's about a year ago when before I went to the baseball tournament, I said this place is I put them dead last behind getting hit by a bus. But I've been to Fargo. I did the UND trip.
Yeah, Grand Forks. Yes.
When the Bears played them in the playoffs that COVID year.
Yep.
But I liked Fargo. I had a good burger at one place
Yeah.
that I think Feely recommended, or maybe you recommended. But I only know Fargo's the TV show to me. So.
I hear you. For a lot of people, it's either that or the movie. It's one or the other. So I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of questions, and we look forward to reading your stuff. Thanks for the time, bud. Be well, and we'll talk soon, all right?
No, I'm already missing you guys. It's an emotional thing for me. I love the people in this league, and you've been good to me. So I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, bud. Wyatt Wheeler from the Springfield News Leader joining us this morning. Again, Mo State will make it official later today about its move to Conference USA and the FBS. I was interested on the other sports. I know we're talking football heavy, but there is a repercussion from doing this, and we all know how good it is for basketball. Baseball is pretty good as well. Nobody cares about the other sports. It's all a football deal. I get it, but there are some aftershocks made from a deal like this. We're due for a break. We'll take one here, and we come back. We'll wrap things up, get you ready for a busy Sports Monday. We'll do that when Hot Mike wraps right after this.